Hello, everyone, and welcome to MUPO Friends. I'm Holly Lombardi,
And I'm Michele MUPO.
and we are brought to you by MUPO TV. You can catch our show at www.mupoentertainment.com, and you can live chat with us every Sunday at the premiere of our episode on our YouTube channel at MUPO Entertainment every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern.
And you can join us on MUPO and Friends as we bring you an inside look at our favorite celebrities and community leaders' lives, their careers, their passions, and what they're actually doing to impact the world today. And we love bringing you relatable, fun, entertaining content that you can enjoy.
That's right. So thank you for tuning in. Michele, how has your weekend been?
It is awesome.
Is it
MUPO
MUPO awesome?
It is. We got everyone saying it's MUPO awesome.
Awesome. But there we go. That's our favorite word. I even have one of those like little gratitude rocks that says awesome. Speaking of awesome, we're going to take. Oh, there you go. You brought it, not bit it.
No, this is a Cintron and it's a tongue and it's a rock and
a spiritual rock.
Yes.
Good energy. Good energy. And speaking of great energy and awesomeness, we have a very special guest. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back to introduce. Welcome back to MUPO and Friends. Our special guest today is a woman who has realized her dreams and is helping others to realize theirs. She is the director of the children's book division at Oxygen Publishing and an Amazon's best-selling author of the George and Mildred series for children. Please give a warm welcome all the way from Scotland for Linda Erskine. Hello, Linda.
Hello. How is everyone?
Excellent, excellent. Out here in California with sunny
I'm
palm
very
trees.
excited. I'm in Jersey, and it's actually the weather's rather grand.
Here it's on and off. Sometimes it's mostly it's raining. I have to be honest. Mostly it rains, but we had beautiful blue skies today, so I was very happy.
Awesome.
They come few and far between, but when they do, I just dance in it.
So I have two of these books, by the way. So how do you choose the problems between George and Mildred and what will they face next?
The first one that it just came to me because when I moved from Scotland, I stayed with my best friend. She had Mildred the Yorkie. So Mildred is real and George is real. They look a little younger than they actually are because my old boy's 14. But it was just a situation that came up where my dog was being bullied and my dog is afraid of everything. So that was the inspiration for this book, for the first book. It started out as a thank you to my friend. And then the rest just followed, like the ideas just flow to me. I have a notebook beside my bed because mostly it's in the middle of the night. I'll wake up, I'll write it down, and then I'll go back to sleep. So it's just constantly downloading into my brain. So the next one I'm working on now. So the first one is The Attack of the Meanie Girls. So that's George, that's Mildred. These are the Meanie Girls, and they're actually modeled on the girls next door, the girl dogs next door. And then we've got Life's the Beach. This is my favorite cover ever. And they go to the beach, and George, of course, is always scared, and Mildred has no fear. And it talks about being too cautious is just as detrimental as being overly cautious. And it's just knowing that balance. You have the healthy fear, but sometimes you have to step over that fear to step into the life that you really want. And that is sort of modeled on my life. because I recently moved to Scotland at the age of like 48. It was just a dream that I had. I sat on it for so long and I said, forget it, let's do it. If I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And I stepped out of my fear.
So was that on your bucket list?
That was, oh, it's been on my bucket list for like 25 years, but it was something that I always came back to. I always had an affinity for Scotland. My family was here. My aunt has since passed, but just all the cousin connections, and just, it was the home of my heart. So I stepped into my heart and followed it here. And I'm not coming back to Canada. Sorry, guys. I'm originally from Ontario. I have people I love there. I don't love the area.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah,
that's so beautiful. You're definitely drawing in. I know we were we met through one of the courses that we're doing on the laws of attraction, and you are definitely an example of following that. I have a question on George and Mildred. You based it on your boxer cow, Ko, K-A-O,
like knockout,
and his friend Smudge. Yes. So why did you decide to use dogs to convey your stories originally?
It made for a cute story. It turned out, like, because it was a true story and I just added to the entertainment phase of it, it just seemed to fit. And I wanted to honor the friendship of the two dogs. I love dogs. I love all animals.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm a dog person. I thought I was a cat person. I'm really a dog person. Just the unconditional love they express to you. And they tell you that you're worthy even if you don't feel it.
Oh, that is so true. I miss Mr. Muffin. I wish Mr. Muffin was here with us now. And little Senior Mateo and Sugar Monroe, because they would love George.
So see, everyone has an attachment. Everyone has a story. So what better way to illustrate to kids through the antics of fun and fearless and very real dogs.
I have a little niece dog named Lola, and Michele loves Lola. And nothing could heal you more than a dog, or they feel you. They really feel you, and they know how to connect. And nothing can bring you so much joy, and just they just put you in such a good space.
My boy knows when I'm in a mood or not feeling 100%, and all he has to do is come up and look at me with soft eyes and give me cuddles, and I'm butter.
Me too. Call
me butter because I'm on a roll.
That is so true. Because Mr. Muffin, when he knows he knows that I'm having a bad day, he'll come and give me an extra hug. And this dog hugs me. Like, he puts his arm, wraps his arms around me, and he'll just stay on. And he, you have to pet his back and everything, but he is just so precious. They are. I think they're a blessing. I'm very grateful for for Lisa actually bringing Mr. Muffin to work for the first time. I just fell in love with him instantly as soon as she put him in my arms. Is that how you were with George?
Oh yeah, I picked him up. He was 8 weeks old. He was like that big. His head was bigger than his body. When he was having dinner. Like, I didn't have an elevated stool, so he was eating on the floor, like in a bowl. And he's eating and he's tipping over. So his head was like in the bowl, but his back legs were in the air. It was hilarious.
Oh,
I wish I had been quick and grabbed a camera because I missed that, but just adorable. That's and defiant awesome. Too. He has a defiant side. Like, training him could be rather difficult. I did have help through my friend Janine, who is a dog trainer, and we work together. You don't train the dog, you train the owners.
That is so true.
I like that.
I had a dog named Ducati, and I sent her to a trainer, and that was one of the first things that they said to me. It's if the dog is not doing something, it's the trainer. It's the owner. Because you need to train. Yeah.
I have to say that George is sitting right next to you. We know that. Like,
you want to see him?
Yes.
He's lying down. I have a short camera, so it might be a little choppy. You're not at sea.
Does he know he's a famous dog?
Nah. Cameo, come.
Here's the star. Oh, there
And
he is.
he's got his bow tie on for you guys.
Hi,
How
George.
precious.
Oh,
Wanna
I'm melting.
there you
That
go.
is so precious.
I love boxers kind of look like the French bulldogs in a way.
They do, and I love French bulldogs. I love all dogs.
Me
Like
too.
we have
What-
many friends with dogs. I don't care what breed they are. Mine's 57. I had a border collie Labrador mix growing up. Oh my goodness, that was my first
Oh,
dog.
labs are so
Loved her.
sweet. Oh,
They are. They're
Yeah.
little.
Uh,
Now, you said that you've been a writer since you learned how to hold a pencil, right? So, do
Yeah.
you remember the first things that you actually wrote?
I think it was my name, but I used to practice. I used to practice picking up a pencil or a pen was my favorite because it was more permanent. And I didn't know how to write. I didn't know how to join letters. I really didn't know anything, but I could remember seeing scribbles on paper, and I would be trying to form letters, but I really didn't know how. I was about 2 or 3, wanting to write my ideas down. It was a way for, I was a very quiet child and shy, not so much anymore, but the way I got my feelings out was through writing them down. I wrote some really bad poetry when I was in my teens. Oh, if you could look back on them now, I think most of them are gone, but I do remember a few of them, and it was teenage angst. My mom called it my dark phase. I wore black. I had a white face, red lips. I was I don't even know what they call
I think
them
everybody went through
now.
that phase.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motorcycle jacket, Doc Martin boots. Yep. That was my angst face.
Oh my God, the Doc Martin boots. I remember that.
Oh
I
yeah.
had Harley Davidson boots.
Yeah.
Even better.
I had Harley Davidson jacket.
I
Yeah.
was all
Pants,
bikered out.
chaps.
It was Joe Jett and the Black Hearts back then. The Runaways.
There you go. My favorite, I had this favorite jacket. It was from Indian Motorcycle.
Oh,
It was a bomber jacket with
Yeah.
like a motorcycle embroidered on the back.
that's
I
beautiful.
wore it. I would sleep in it.
Anything Indian is really worth a lot of money. I don't know if you realize
It
that.
really is. Yes.
Mhm.
In
So-
Toronto, there was the Indian Motorcycle Club.
My Uncle
and we
Jim
would-
got an Indian, had an Indian. They gave him an Indian motorcycle. He used to do
wow.
stunts and stuff. He was amazing.
You know, it's funny
Um,
though. I would wear that. I love the jacket. I was scared as hell to go on the motorcycle because I knew I was going to fall off. That was a fear that I had. It was unfounded. I had never done it before. I had ridden bikes, but it was that fear of, oh my God, I shouldn't try this. What if I fall?
Isn't that
So
something?
yeah,
And now we're in
so that's been a
classes.
constant theme.
And now we're in classes
Right.
together, learning how to overcome our fears.
Fears.
Exactly. So time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question about your process. What kind of a process do you use to bring your ideas to fruition, especially through the type of stories that you write?
That is a great question. As I said, it comes from all sorts of sources. So I look at something that I went through as a child, or even as an adult, about conquering, overcoming. I don't like the word overcoming because it means that you're going over it, you're not going through it.
Mhm.
So conquering fears, conquering mindset, which is something that I've had been doing for the last, I'd say, 3 years, and just tie it in with something that the kids might go through. Like the next book was inspired by Hector, who was a foster dog that I was going to adopt into our family. He came from Spain. He did not work out. KO was not welcoming, which was totally shocked me because KO loves everybody. But this was a new dog coming into his house and he
Right.
wasn't going home. So he didn't feel comfortable. Hector was a huge dog. I wrecked my shoulder trying to get him to come. He didn't know how to sit stay or anything. So instead of having him in my home, he was the inspiration for the next book, which sees Hector, a foster dog from Spain, coming into the community, being adopted into a family. And most of the scenes are set in Scotland because that's where I am now. And it was sort of an homage to my aunts and uncles here. So he comes into the village and he thinks that he has to give up his love of tango dancing in order to fit in. And that's what happens with a lot of kids. They think they have to hide themselves away and not be who they really are and do the things that they really love and embrace that in order to be accepted into the community. Like, everyone's beautiful, everyone has a talent. Let that talent shine. That's who you are. And that's what I'm just coming into realization with myself.
That's a beautiful process. I love the way you've woven the stories and the things that you love and that are you're passionate about. I love tango, by the way. It's a beautiful dance.
Oh yeah.
And
yes, Mildred will throw him a rose off the stage because he is the star. She's supposed to be the star of the Christmas pageant, but Hector steals the show with his tango dancing, and Mildred throws a rose to him.
Oh my goodness, the kids must love these, and adults as well. This is such beautiful storylines based on reality.
Yes, and we have inside jokes for the adults in the books too. Just little snippets of.
It's funny that you said that, because I was comparing it to SpongeBob, because I said this is not really, because I read it, and it's like it was kind of made for an adult too. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a couple wordings in the first one especially, because this was written for my friends. It wasn't supposed to go anywhere, but people loved it. So I thought, okay, let's do it. Like, because Mildred has really, really skinny chicken legs, and we're always teasing her about her skinny chicken legs. So I wrote in this book, let's see, Mildred Smudge lived in the big town and was everything George was not. Small and sulky, with a pretty face and pointy ears, and legs that resembled a chicken. So my friends burst out laughing at that, because that is their dog. So everyone can see a little bit of themselves in the book.
That's awesome.
And
That's
we
so
go on
beautiful.
for Christmas, I got them socks that had chicken legs on them. So we all took pictures on Christmas Day wearing these socks. That's just my sense of humor, though.
I love it.
Me too.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with author Linda Erskine. Hello, everybody. Woo! Welcome back to MUPO and Friends. We are here with author Linda Erskine. Go ahead, Michele.
And Linda, so like, I have to bring this up just about because I want to know everybody's mindset, because I feel it's important. And you do have the 10X mindset. I mean, every Sunday I see you at 7:30 in the morning. What time is it there when it's 7:30 here?
Oh, it's not so bad. It's 12:30. So I have the morning to get going. And then this is just a nice afternoon break just to lift me up. I joined the 10X last year, and it was just so empowering, got me off my butt.
And how did it help you though? How did it help you as a writer? Like, was that when you first met Carolyn?
I first met Carolyn I started working with Carolyn in May of last year, and I went to the 10X afterwards. So the book was the inspiration. I sat on the book for a few months before I did anything. Like, as usual, oh, this is great. People would tell me, and I'd say, yeah, thank you. And I'd shrug it off, and I'd be all demure. And then I got introduced to Carolyn, and just something clicked. You meet the right people in these mastermind groups, and that is what I've learned. They might not do anything for you physically or monetarily, but there's always these connections that you get brought in, you're in a group with people of that higher frequency and mindset, and we all help each other. We all want to see each other succeed. I was the type of person that I love seeing other people succeed and didn't keep any for myself. Now I'm learning that I have to keep a little bit for myself too. So it's the mindset, man. I made a change, I made a shift, and there's no looking back. I do have a few hiccups, but I go back and redo the work and get my mind back on that track. And I've done things that I would never normally do, like be on MUPO Entertainment here.
We would get you
Aw.
on. We would get you on. We would get you
We're
on.
so happy to have you on.
Oh,
And
wait, did you just hear her? She said, "Who is she? Who is she? She is Linda." Okay, the actual Erskine. How do you say your name with a Scotland accent?
Oh, I'm Scottish. I can't do a Scottish accent.
Erskine.
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 Erskine. Erskine.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but she just like when she was in the room, did she or did she not, Holly, just lighten up everybody because she started to talk about the book and we were like, oh my God, oh my God. I mean, do you remember that? You even were on
Absolutely.
Wednesday nights at 6:30. I
Yeah,
remember
that's
you coming
right.
on. And
Yeah, that's right.
So, and for those of you that don't know who we're talking about,
one of our mentors
or what we're talking about, Carolyn Flower is the CEO and owner of Oxygen Publishing, who has, obviously joined forces with Linda, and Linda
us
is
and MUPO Entertainment. She's on our
MUPO
website.
Entertainment.
So if you want to,
right.
Plug her. Wait, I got to do this. I got to do the MUPO plug. Okay. So if you want to know about Oxygen Publishing, you need to go ahead, say
www.mupoentertainment.com
and look up on the publishing button, and you're going to see a whole slew about Carolyn.
Ooh, that was smooth transition.
That was beautiful.
And Linda, of course, is the director of the Children's Division, Books Division. So that is congratulations too. That's
Thank you. I'm loving it.
That's part of the 10X uniting people, connecting and supporting one another.
Exactly. And you know what? Like the connection was so instant. Everyone told me this was a good book. I said, yeah, put it down. And as soon as Carolyn said it, it was like, this is a book. Let's do this. It was an expert in the industry saying, yes, you are good. You are a good writer. You are good enough. And that was the message that I needed to hear at that time. So I made this decision, walked through the door, said, okay, let's do it, committed right there and then. And from there, that's how I do it. I have to commit first. And then I don't think about it anymore. Like where I might have thought about it for like 5 months, I make the decision within, I'd say 5-10 minutes. If something doesn't suit me, no, it's not for me. But if something really resonates, it's the gut feeling, I have to do it. And that's how I base all of my decisions now. Like I still do the research, don't get me wrong, but to make the actual decision and put down money or put down my time, then that I go with the gut. And the same with the director of children's books. We were talking, Carolyn and I, about our backgrounds, and I told her a little bit about myself. I've been an editor of a newspaper, edited books. I can help. I'm always about helping. And she said, well, wait a second, you wrote a kid's book. I want to expand into that. Why don't you be the director of children's books? And there it was. That was my new role, my next adventure. And so now all of these adventures are intertwining. And so I've got 6 authors that I'm working with. I'm writing my own book. I'm writing a nonfiction book, and just helping other authors step into their being and take ownership.
That's incredible. Wow. Tell me about tell the audience about the Read a Story, Heal a Heart, the mission of it.
Yeah, it just came out of the first book, because when I write these books, yes, I'm meant to inspire the children, but it actually touches me emotionally. Uh, there's a line in Life's the Beach that just, and I wrote this when I write the books, I just write. I don't edit as I go. I just get it out, worry about the editing later. Spelling mistakes, yeah, sure, there better not be any because I am like the spelling champion of my old school, so there better not be. But it's just getting the everything out that you want to say. And I had trouble writing this because I was editing as I went. So it was 4 times that I tried to write it. I have different excerpts all interwoven. I wrote this in about, I would say, 2 hours it took to write the initial one, but that was just free flowing. And I took the ideas from all the other 4 other drafts, but one line stuck out. And it was, of course, George being scared. So he's waiting for his best friend Smudge or Mildred to come to go to the beach, and he's really scared. So he's got his life jacket on, life ring, water wings, and true story, Ko has to wear a life jacket because he's fallen into 5 pools and he sinks like a stone. So what better place to go to than the beach for the next adventure? So I wrote this. He was afraid, as he always seemed to be, afraid of the unknown, the beach, the waves, and in trying something he knew he was not good at, George thought that maybe it was better not to try at all than to fail. And I wrote that and I started crying. So I knew that had to go in the book.
Ah, that's beautiful. I just had a vision of you doing a Q&A for your book with all the characters, all the dogs in the books on stage.
That would be really cool.
Mhm.
I'm looking into doing the stuffed animal versions of George and Mildred. So
I would buy them.
Oh yeah, and I wanted for each book because, like, obviously he's not going to be wearing his life jacket and lightsaber everywhere, but he is going to be wearing his bow tie. But he would have different outfits from books that the kids can just put on. Like when they're reading Life's the Beach, they can put on the life jacket and the lightsaber ring.
I love that
But
title.
you do know that boxers and bulldogs and French bulldogs, they're not supposed to swim.
Oh, I know. I know.
A lot of people don't know that, and they'll throw them in the pool, and it kind of pisses me off.
I knew Kale went in the pool only because he fell in. He was too busy running and he didn't see where the pavement ended and the pool began. 5 times. 5 times.
Oh,
well,
Yeah.
you know,
he sounds
that's how
like
you
me.
learn. I make the same mistake about 10 times before I stop doing it, right, Holly?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I bump into things like 5-10 times.
No, a lot of people don't know that. They'll buy a dog and then they'll just throw it in the pool. Oh, dogs can swim. No, they can't. There's certain dogs because of their esophagus and their nose. Like I don't know if you realize this, but the French bulldog, they say they're always in pain, those dogs. And that breaks my heart. And that's why, like, when I pick Mr. Muffin up, I treat him like he's a king.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Mateo's really heavy. So Mateo, when you pick him up, because he's more French bulldoggy, he doesn't sit the way Muffin does, but he'll lean on you and then I can't breathe because he's so I can't hold him too long. But the little white one, oh my God, she is just so precious. She's my new worker at work.
Oh yeah, no. Each dog is different. Because like Keo's dad, he could swim, but he was taught, and it was in a very loving way, where he felt more confident. He did have a life jacket, but it got to the point where they just went in and they did what they had to do to swim. They loved it. They loved chasing the ball into the water, whereas Kay would stop at the shoreline. They would just barrel right through. But yeah, boxers tend to sink. So Kale does have to wear a life jacket. In other situations, he has no fear. Like if he's running and he takes, like the other day we were out for a wood walk, and there's a wooded area bordering my property. So we go for wood walks all the time. But there was this big hill he was running full force and he doesn't know how to stop. But instead of stopping, he leapt over off of this hill. I thought he was like,
Oh my God.
my heart was in my throat because he's 14 now. He landed it, ran off, no bother. So on land, he has no fear. In water, it's so different. And I'm the opposite. I have no fear in the water. I got thrown in at the age of like 2.5, sink or swim. My mom was freaking out. My dad was saying, don't worry about it. And I'm accident prone on land. So
can you swim?
See, I didn't get thrown in the water, and I didn't get sent to swimming class till I was 9, and I was terrified. They put me in the deep end, and I almost drowned in class, and it was awful. And I avoided the water like the plague. But I love the beach. Ironically, I really love the beach. And so rewind to an adult, I actually learned to scuba dive. I've done 19 scuba dives in my life and charted my own dives.
That is awesome.
I haven't done them in a while. I probably could require a refresher, but it was great. But it was a challenge I gave myself to overcome that fear. But you know, everything's, you get used to being in the water. You're going to be more agile in the water. So,
yeah. And some of they're learned behaviors, because my mom was afraid of the water. She grew up in Scotland. They didn't have a lot of holidays. She never went swimming. So her first experience was traumatic.
Yeah.
And she sort of put some of her fears on me. So it was,
parents do that.
Fall.
Parents do that.
And you have to reprogram yourselves afterwards. Like, yes, you're getting all of these lessons, but I'll do it anyways. You told me not to, I'll do it anyways.
Exactly.
The rebel in me was coming out. The motorcycle jacket was actually real.
So we're Italian over here in New Jersey. It's hard to find an Italian American who didn't have a pool. You know what I mean? We had a pool in the backyard, but I didn't like to swim.
No?
Nope.
Really?
No, I had problems with my ears ever since I was a little kid.
Okay.
So I've had tubes, like I literally have tubes in like many times. And that's one of the reasons why I can't fly, because of the altitudes.
That's true.
That's yeah. I'm not big on the water, but if you put me on a boat or put me on a jet ski or in some type of a motorcycle, anything with an engine, I'm fine. I'll jump over a car. It doesn't matter. I'll try anything like that.
Yeah, well, there's certain things that you have to watch out for, especially with ears too. So yes, the water getting in your ears, that wouldn't be good for you. But you got around it by getting on a jet ski.
No, I'm not saying I didn't get on a jet ski, but I'm saying
okay.
I would jump. I forget about it. I would jump out of the house and make believe I was a Spider-Man at one point. I was a little kid. That's why it's just like, you know, you have to, when somebody says no, and like what you were saying about your mother kind of put that fear into you. Parents tend to do that. Like parents don't do that. Push your kids to be everything they can be and want to be.
Yeah, there's something about being cautious, but being wrapped up in bubble wrap. Like,
that's a good expression. It
doesn't have to be one extreme or another. It can be, you can be cautious and take precautions, like George wears his life jacket because he knows he sinks, but do it anyways. Unless, like, if it's life-threatening, don't do it.
Exactly.
But a healthy level of fear is good, but being too fearful, and it stops you in your own fear, and you do not realize your full potential because you're so afraid of failing, falling, getting hurt. It's the same with opening up your heart. Some people don't open up their heart because they're afraid of being hurt. So you're actually hurting yourself by not opening up your heart.
Absolutely. We're going to take another quick break, and we're going to be right back with more from author Linda Erskine. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to MUPO and Friends, where you can find us at www.mupoentertainment.com. And we are here speaking with author Linda Erskine. We are talking about the children's books, her writing, her life. I love the absolute beautiful way that you incorporate life, real topics, real events. Even the stories about the dogs are actually have really happened to the dogs or to the people that the stories came from. So I know Michele has a question she's been wanting to ask.
Well, yeah, I wanted to know, how has writing children's stories actually helped you? Because I know it's helping children.
Yes. I always get choked up at this point. I'm writing, I never thought I'd write children's books. I thought I have this big saga book in my head. It wasn't coming out. This just fell into my lap, and I'm so grateful for it. And I've realized it's where I truly belong, because I'm getting to the kids at the grassroots level, where they're just coming into their own and they might need a little bit of guidance. But as I'm writing these, it's healing my heart too, because all of these emotions are coming up from my childhood, how I was raised, situations that I either was in or put myself in. And it's like the light bulb moment where it goes off and you say, this is why I was feeling like this. This is why. And it just, it gives a story to that feeling. And I'm a weeper. I cry at everything. And it's because my emotions have nowhere else to go, so they have to come out.
Aww.
But I was in tears writing books. Well, not so much the Meanie Girls, because I was writing about Cameo and Smudge the Yorkie is Mildred, how Mildred stood up for George. And I was always the rooting for the underdog and taking them under my wing. But I had tears in my eyes over this one, because I love swimming. So I was Mildred, but my personality and my background, I was George, because I was so scared, not necessarily of the water, but everything else. So it's just a little bit of my heart in every little book. And I've got ideas for 10 books now. They just keep downloading.
Well, Linda, you touch our hearts very much. And we have the pleasure of being in a course with Carolyn and Linda called Universal Laws. And we are so blessed to have the opportunity to connect with you in there. And you definitely touch hearts with your energy and the way you are. Speaking of energy, you're a believer in naturopathy. Can you explain to the audience, for those that are not don't know what the field is, what it's about and what the benefits are?
Naturopathy, I look at nature, incorporate nature into my life. Natural supplements, whole foods, especially the whole foods. Like I released about 50 pounds starting back in September, just from changing my eating regime and going it from a natural perspective. Like I'm feeding my body and my soul, but I'm not feeding it junk. I turned off the television for the news. I get the updates, so I know what's going on, but my news used to be on 24/7. I was a newspaper person. Taking natural supplements. I drink lemon and ginger water instead of black tea. It's just making the little changes, and it doesn't have to be drastic. Vitamins for sure, like, because we don't get all the vitamins that we need from food, so we have to supplement. And it's just based on your own body. I was diagnosed with stage 2 or type 2 diabetes. I no longer have that, because I went at it. I wasn't treating the effects. I was looking at the cause.
Right.
So
Nice.
yeah, just all natural. My hair is natural now too. I used to color it.
Well,
COVID.
You look beautiful. You're glowing
Thank you.
and you look most of all happy. And that is such a key when you start doing the right things for your body.
Exactly, yes. No, the natural vitality came out. My eyes were brighter, my skin was better. I didn't have bags under my eyes. And that was within 2 weeks, just of, and it doesn't have to be so regimented, because I used to be like that. I was very regimented and I would punish myself if I ever fell off. And that started the whole guilt cycle, and that started, I'm not good enough. And it was just, it's all intertwined.
Now,
So you start feeling better about yourself and making good choices for you. It all is, it's all combined.
so you also, had spoke about your fear has held you back from adventures in life. How did you overcome that?
By jumping in, like the biggest thing that I did was to move to Scotland. I said, I think it was like, I was 23. I had just graduated from journalism school. I was going to set the world on fire. I bought a one-way ticket to Scotland. I didn't know where I have family and friends here. I can stay here, but I didn't have a plan. I just thought, I'll go over there. I will submit my resume to the Scotsman newspaper. They're going to love me because I'm fabulous. And that's it. I'm going to be here and writing for newspapers. That I thought was my focus. I had no fear then. And then I was talked down. My mom cried for 6 hours. And you don't want to see your mom cry. But she said, okay, you can go to Scotland, but you're getting a two-way ticket. You're coming back in 2 weeks. Hand in the resume, see what happens, but you are coming back. And of course, I had just gotten out of school. I didn't have a lot of experience. I didn't get the Scotsman job. I got the rejection letter 2 weeks later, but it was that was the indication. Instead of saying, okay, looking at it objectively, I said, well, I guess I'm really not good enough. And I put that dream on hold for many, many years. I still pursued other little mini dreams, but something would always set me back. And it wasn't until my friend Wendy, one of our group,
Wendy Long?
mindset group, no, Wendy Monteith.
Okay. Oh, Wendy. Wendy.
She came in. I brought her on a trip with me to Scotland to visit relatives. I hadn't been there in like 6 years. And she saw how I was there and she said, this is where you belong. You have to be here. So it took a 2-year process.
She is such a good soul.
She really is.
Yes, she is.
She helped me every step of the way. Like when an obstacle would come up, I would look at it as a mountain. She would look at it as like 5 really invigorous walks. So we would go through the process, and it was fun along the way. But it was just getting through those obstacles that got me to the next level, So I broke down this whole big mountain into the 10 steps that took 2 years, because I couldn't come here and just say, I'm here, let me live here. I had to get a visa. And what did I need to get that visa? And we broke it all down that way. So it was just breaking the task down in manageable chunks and knowing when I was going to get overwhelmed. That was the key.
I'm going to put this out in the universe because I'm very intuitive, and I'm sure Holly is going to relate to this. Or she's going to agree. I know she's going to agree with this. But Holly, can you see her reading the books on MUPO Entertainment as like a special show, like maybe an hour show or a 2-hour show, and we get kids sitting in the front, and
I love that.
And we do that, and she could do it right from Scotland, and then we could set up a tour for her and get her to go from school to school and read the book. Because you know how, like, I don't know if you had it, Holly, but I had where there's I don't know if Canada had it at the time because you were in Canada, but they would have like this van would come up and they would have all these books in this van. You got to go in there and pick the book. So did everybody have that, or was that just a Jersey thing?
I don't remember that out here.
We
I mean, we had libraries.
Okay.
We
So
special
we
reading
had,
days.
yeah, we had a Scholastic book club
yes.
Right.
where
That's what we have in
Scholastic,
Delhi.
But
Yeah.
they came
yeah,
in a van and they had all these books and you got to, you actually got to buy a book. So that day your mother would give you $5 or like, no, actually $5 back then was a lot. I think it was a
yeah.
$2.50 or whatever. And then, you would basically get the book you want. And,
It's
yeah,
like the ice
I
cream,
picked
like the
Nancy
ice
Drew.
cream truck,
That
like
was
the
my,
ice cream truck, but for books.
yeah, no, that's what
That's a
exactly
great
what it
Yeah.
was.
idea.
No, that's exactly what it was. It was the ice. That's what it was. We
Yeah.
got to go on the bus and the books were like there was no seats. They were just all laid out on tables, like going from the front to the back, and the
How
books were there and you
cool.
got to pick the book you want and you go off and that person, I hope that money went to charity, but I think it went to the guy's bus because the bus was so run down. I remember it.
Yeah, we didn't have the bus. Can you imagine a rundown bus driving up to a school now saying, "Come in, kids, look at my book."
No.
No. But like we had the Scholastic book club, so it was like on the day you got the little magazine and you wrote out what you wanted, and then you'd like I'd bribe my mom. It's like I'll clean the toilet 5 times in 1 week if I can get this book, because she
See,
hated cleaning the toilet.
that's the salesperson in you. You don't even realize.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I loved those days. That made my entire month as if I knew it was Scholastic Book Day, and I was just all lit up from the inside. I was so excited. And it's funny you should mention the ice cream truck because we had the ice cream truck would come around our neighborhood and it would ring its little bell.
Yeah.
It didn't play a tune, it just had a bell. But
Ours played a tune.
yeah,
My
the
co-
scissor sharpening truck had the same bell. So
So
I
we had
would run out thinking I'm getting ice cream and no, it's sharpening scissors. It's like so let down.
we had a
First of all, I don't have scissors.
so the MUPO family had not my immediate family, but my cousin, my father's cousin, Mikey, may he rest in peace. He had like a bunch. He had over 20 ice cream trucks. So everyone
Oh,
all
wow.
over knew MUPOs because of the ice cream truck, because of it was just crazy. It was. But I got to tell you, I definitely can visualize that. We would love, I mean, is it
I would love
okay?
nothing
I'll
more.
ask.
I think it's an awesome idea. Oh my God, it's such a great
Is it okay?
idea. And
But is
talk
it okay
about,
if we do it for kids? Like literally have
yeah,
a
why wouldn't we?
no, I'm saying like maybe we can get like a parent and a kid. That's what I'm visualizing.
That's a great idea. But before we
Yeah.
have the rest of the world sign an NDA, let's talk about this off camera.
Oh,
Uh,
this is recorded, so this is technically copyrighted. If anyone
Okay,
takes
there we
this,
go.
we're going to do this next week. And you know what? We're also doing a show
We'll
with
go
Wendy and
MUPO on you.
Gabriella. Yeah. So we're going to get Wendy and Gabriella too to do a show because they have something very spiritual. So Linda will be on that as well.
I
Speaking
love it.
of inspiring not only kids, you also inspire authors at Oxygen Publishing. And how do you help them realize their dreams of becoming a published author and writing these children's books?
It all started because I did it myself. So I know the process. I know I can understand where they're coming from, the fear barrier. Uh, I'm there to hold their hand. And what Carolyn did for me was to say that my story was good. It's just to hold their hand and say, yes, you got this. And I'm going to guide you along the steps of what I took and just give a whole human experience. Like just because you sign with a company, we're not going to let you go. We're not going to let you go down and wonder what's next. We're going to tell you what's next. We're going to show you what's next. And that's what Carolyn did for me. So I want to pass that along to someone else to let them know that their story matters. Like everyone has
She's
a
great
story.
like that.
Yeah, she
awesome
is.
like that. And I put my own little spin on it. But basically I'm there as a tour guide. I'll put my little hat on and say, okay, on the left we have this, on the right we have this. you can go here, but you can also go there and just steer them
I'm
to
driving the
what
tour
they want.
bus. I'm driving the tour bus for us.
Well,
Awesome.
you both are very inspiring women. I know Carolyn's definitely very, very inspiring in helping people see their extraordinary stories and uh, guiding people not just to write a book, but as she says, she teaches you how to become an author and then how
Yeah.
to write the book. So she gets you in that whole mindset of the process. And so we're and the two of you together and the other people at Oxygen Publishing are just an incredible group, incredible team. So if you're an author, aspiring author, you have an extraordinary story. Definitely
Go
is
to
something www.mupoentertainment.com and check out our publishing section, Carolyn Flower at Oxygen Publishing, and our children's author, Linda Erskine. So, Michele?
well, I'm actually thinking I already know what I'm going to do. But, you know, how can we as individuals be heroes of our own story and empower others?
By telling your story, by sharing. Sharing is caring. I always loved hearing what made other people tick. Like that's why I got into journalism at first, because people told me their secrets. I don't know what it was, whether it was my face, my smile, I don't know, but people would tell me their secrets, and I was a very good secret keeper. This is a way to get your story out and tell your tale about the lessons you learned without, like, especially with kids' books, you don't have to stand up and say, this is me. This is me. So it's just an easier way of getting your story out there, and you can inspire so many people. Like this is grassroots level reaching out and inspiring. Your story matters.
Excellent. We're going to take another quick break and we will be right back for the conclusion with Linda Erskine. All right, and we are back. Like our tune? We're back on MUPO and Friends, and you can always catch us at www.mupoentertainment.com. We are here with author Linda Erskine, and we were talking backstage about how kids' ideas and who they are formed between ages 1 through 8. So essentially, you're dealing with an adult as an adult with either a 1-year-old to an 8-year-old. And I really feel that, Linda, what you're doing in the books and the quality of the content that you're putting out there is you're developing and creating a mindset for kids. You're a children's influencer of the mind, and
Awesome.
putting out that beautiful content like that and getting their minds also not only to set in a positive manner, but also to expand the way that they think and their perspective. And I just think it's incredible. I'd like to know what's next on. You have another book coming up, Tango.
Yes, let's
series.
tango. Yes, he's going
That's
to
what
be wearing a
George and
matador jacket.
So why didn't you use their real names?
I always have trouble explaining how to spell KO, what it means, because I spelled it not KO, I spelled it KAO, which I didn't know in Portuguese is actually dog, but that was
Nice.
just
Wow, I didn't know that. See, we always learn something new on MUPO.
Exactly. So every time someone asks, oh, what's the dog's name? It's KO, like knockout. But I knew that kids would not really get that. And with, there's a series here in the 70s called George and Mildred. And George is very timid man, doesn't stand up for himself. Mildred is a force of nature. It suited the two personalities for the dog. Like Smudge is a totally cute name for a dog, but it's not a real human name. You wouldn't call someone else Smudge. like the guy down the street. Oh, hi, Smudge. So it was just a name that kids would be able to recognize, that it was a human name, and it also lent to the whole personalities.
Exactly. And that, you know, what just came to my mind, like you're almost like, because they are human name, like, you know, adult names or human names, whatever you want to call it, that they're going to think like that. They're not going to look at them as animals.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
have so many
intelligent.
kids come up and say, "Oh, how's George today?"
I say it all the time.
Wonderful. Yeah, his nickname is George now.
That's so cute. He's beautiful. He is so beautiful.
He's my soul dog.
He's gonna get credit for cameo appearance.
That's right, exactly. So to answer your question, like the inspiration, like it is awesome that I can influence a child and let them know that they're not alone, that they are enough, that they shouldn't hide their authenticity away, because they come in just beautiful and pure, and then life situations, you get taught these lessons. Not all the lessons are great for them, and I get to interact with them before it's too late. It's never too late. It wasn't too late for me. It's never too late. But these are the formative years, and like with my nieces and nephews, I always say, come in with empowering stuff. Like, and I believe it. I truly believe it. Like, I wouldn't just say something for the heck of saying something to make someone feel good. I take a quality that they have and say, you are you because of this. This is part of you, and it should be celebrated. So celebrating everyone's uniqueness, everyone's story, everyone's purpose and potential, because everyone has potential.
I love it.
Beautiful. Michele?
Well, we did start to ask what is next for George and Mildred, and you started to say it.
Yes.
How soon do you think it'll be out?
I have to finish the book, like writing the actual copy, by the end of April.
Okay, so
it'll be out in October 8th.
Do a landing page tonight and let's pre-order it.
I would love that. I don't have any images yet, so let me.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Coming
yes.
soon.
I'll do the coming soon. I'm doing bookmarks for another project, so it's going to have Life's a Beach on one side, and then coming soon, Let's Tango.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And the one after that, I'm not sure whether it's going to focus on Banana the chicken. Banana lives next door to us. She's a real chicken. Unfortunately, a fox got her the other night. So I don't. Yeah. Yeah. So Banana, R.I.P., is no more, but she will be in the 4th book. And it's going to be, George wants to be friends with her, but she's scared of him, and she starts rumors about him that aren't true because she's scared.
Yeah. May she rest in peace. The poor.
I know.
Are you afraid of? Go ahead. I was going to say the foxes scare me.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Because you said she got attacked by a fox. Now, aren't you afraid that George is going to go out there, or?
No, foxes don't attack large dogs. Like, I would be more scared if it was a coyote. We had coyotes in the area where I used to live in Mississauga, Ontario, because there was a wooded area right by the apartment building that I lived in. And more than a few times I was taking Keo out on his final walk, and there was a coyote. And I did everything. Yeah, I never ran so fast in all my life because I was worried for Keo. Not so much for myself, but for him. But they tend, like the foxes, especially here, are smaller, and they don't tend to attack large dogs. Chickens, yes. Keo actually, yeah, they'd be fine. But coyotes, on the other hand, but I'm always protective of everyone. And Teo actually got into Banana's hen house, and I thought I thought Teo was going to die for being pecked out, like with the claws and the beak, but it was okay. Both survived. They're still friends.
You need to put that in the book.
I have one image in my head of George inside the hen house and running away with the hen house on his back because he's just so large.
I absolutely love the name Banana. That's so cute.
Yeah, Lewis, the 5-year-old, named her Banana.
Banana.
Yeah.
I have a question I've been wanting to ask, because you were a journalist. Michele was a journalist, and what was your life, your experience like as a journalist, and how did that experience contribute to writing, or did it influence it?
It did. It was getting to be privy to different stories, and it was never my story, it was someone else's. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't as in your face and scary. So it was the starting point of bringing my voice out. I could express their story through my voice, especially with how to word quotes. And I love the quotes. That's why I have so much dialogue in this book. It's like, I want to hear the actual characters speak. But it's just getting to learn different stories and getting to put it out there and put it into relatable terms for other people. It was just lovely.
Wow, I love that. Michele, what was your experience as a journalist?
Well, I did photography and I write songs. I did do a couple stories that got published and they considered me a journalist. Do I consider myself one? No. I consider myself a songwriter. I'm a creative writer. I've written scripts, movies, sitcoms. It's hard. It's hard because you know what it is? Now that I look back, I mean, I'm in the middle of doing that book with Carolyn, and I'm like, you know what? I'm more of a script person than I am a book person. So now it's like, and what does Carolyn say? Carolyn says, when you leave the book, when you stop writing and then you come back to it, what does she say? It's something to the effect like the book tells you when you want to write or something.
Oh, when you live your life, when you go out and you live your life, this book starts writing itself.
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. It will write itself. Like I'm going to go back and finish that because I think I have to.
Oh my gosh, you have an incredible story, Michele.
I have stories. So like, I mean, like I have stories that I put in there. The question is, will I get in trouble? Because I would have really loved to just put everything that happened with the people and use their names, but I know we can't do that. So I have to.
I have the saga book, and that's why I waited, because there's family secrets in there that I found out upon my grandmother's deathbed. And my mom has since passed, her sister has passed, but the cousins are still around, and we're the keepers of all the stories. I have changed names to protect some people. It's not a bad story. It's just about a story of survival, and especially like the matriarchs in the family, of how they did things these ways. They passed along these traits, but they did so in order to survive. And I had to come back to that story. I started out writing it, and I was an angry person. I'm not angry anymore. There's a lot of forgiveness there, a lot of realization, and I had to sit on that and let that percolate before I can go back and finish writing it. So I know what you mean, Michele. Like you want to add all of these stories, but just let it percolate for a little bit.
You know, it's funny. The people in MUPO Entertainment, they get to hear stories every now and then all come off. And then like we were sitting there one day with Holly, and who was it? Who were we with? And I was just Mike Pierre. And we were just on for hours, and I was just talking about my life, and my life alone. I'm not kidding. If you took parts of my life, just parts of my life, you could have a motion picture. You could have, I mean, I don't know. There's definitely series involved with that. I mean, and I'm talking, we would beat, what's that one that's really long? SVU or SUV or what SVU?
SVU.
Yeah, I was saying SUV
Yeah.
like the car, but SVU is still running for like 18 years. I got that beat. Let me tell you, you just take my life story. I'm like 53. We got 53 years of craziness going on.
There you go. There you go.
Well, Linda, it has been such a pleasure having you. This is not the last time either. Absolutely just love knowing about your writing, your books, your life, your ideas. And it is always such a pleasure engaging with you both on and off the screen, which we have the pleasure of doing. So we're very blessed. All right, Linda, before we wrap, we'd like to do 3 fun fill in the sentences where I start, you finish, anything that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Sure.
If I could impart one affirmation on the world.
I am or you are worthy.
One classic piece of literature I'd love to write.
I've always loved The Great Gatsby. So yeah, I would love to write something along that line.
That is a favorite.
Yeah.
One possession I would never part with.
My dog.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, I will have to part with him because life goes on and he is 14.
God forbid.
You know what? I don't know. I think my dad's 1967 Ricoh camera, because I had learned on that. It actually got stolen and I found a replacement for him and he was so happy. So I have that on my bookshelf right now. So I think that's one thing that I would, if there was a fire, God forbid, knock on wood, I would grab that.
And all the beautiful memories that go and that come with that camera. Awesome,
Exactly.
Linda. Thank you so much. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Linda Erskine. Look for George and Mildred, The Attack of the Meanie Girls, George and Mildred, Life's a Beach. And you can find those on Amazon.com and the upcoming Let's Tango. You can also follow, like, and subscribe to Linda Erskine. And Erskine is spelled Erskine. And you can follow her on Twitter at Linda the Scribe, SCRIBE.
Sorry, it's author Linda Erskine.
Oh, I'm sorry. At Twitter at author Linda Erskine. On Facebook and LinkedIn under Linda Erskine. And at her website, www.lindaerskine.com. And at Oxygen Publishing at www.oxygenpublishing.com. As always, thank you for tuning in to MUPO and Friends, courtesy of MUPO TV. You can watch this and other shows at www.mupoentertainment.com. That's www.mupoentertainment.com. Until next time, this is Holly Lombardi with author and director of children's books at Oxygen Publishing, Linda Erskine, and our CEO, host and mastermind of MUPO Entertainment and MUPO and Friends, Michele MUPO. And we are over and out.